look at the time, where does it go? So much to craft, so much to sew. Time is ticking, there's a buzz in the air. Need to get ready, no time to spare.
Good morning, gifted crafters. It's crafting time.
Worries on my mind, it's been a tough week. My life feels a void, there's something that I need. My supplies on the table, I grab a comfy seat. I need to craft to put my mind at ease. Crafting changed my life, it mends my soul. In my happy space, I'm in full control. It's crafting time, craft my troubles away. Give me a world of color to brighten up my day. Crafting videos on, searching what I can do. Sipping on my drink, feeling inspired and new. Crafting's good for the soul, it's so true. Bringing beauty into the world through. As I craft, my spirit starts to climb. It's not just a pastime, it's a state of mind. It's more than just a hobby, it's a way of life. I expressed myself, everything is feeling just right. It changed my life, it mends my soul. In my happy space, I'm in control. It's crafting time, craft my troubles away. Give me a world of color to brighten up my day. Crafting videos on, searching what I...
Live from the Sunshine State in Miami, Florida, here is the Gifted Crafters Morning Show with Nancy.
Good time. Ooh, time to get our craft on. Ooh, time to have fun. Ooh, time to feel good.
Good morning, Gifted Crafters, and welcome to the Gifted Crafters Morning Show. Good morning out there. I see people tuning in from all over the place. I see Northern Illinois, Miami, Florida. Yes, hey neighbor, how you doing out there? We've got Maryland in the house, Pennsylvania. We've got Ohio and Virginia. I see my friends there from Canada. Hey, how are you? I've got people from North Carolina. Awesome. All righty. I see people from all over the place. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate all of your support. And I'm hoping that I can inspire you every morning and bring a little laughter to your day. Because I think we all need a little bit of laughter every now and then, don't we? All righty. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, good morning, Lisa, Robin. We've got Barbara. We've got Bettina, Melissa, Jackie. Oh, gosh. Becky, Jackie, Jenny. All righty. On and on. Sandra, Sue Ann. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for tuning in. Gosh, guys, I really appreciate it. And I hope you're having a great morning because it's TGIF. Yes, TGIF, guys. So happy it is Friday. Yay. We made it through another week. And so we'll be ready for the weekend. Thank you again. All righty, so good morning. So if you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Nancy with GiftsHQ, and we host these daily sessions just to talk about all kinds of crafting stuff, right? We got things from sewing, embroidery, knitting, crocheting. We just do it all, and we share all kinds of tips and tricks. So if that's something that you're into, don't be shy. Go ahead and say hello in the chat. We love all our newbies out there, and we just love to have a really nice community, and we help each other out with all kinds of tips. And today is going to be a great example of that, and I'll be getting to that in just a moment. But before we do anything, guys, grab your little drink, because I'm already kind of halfway there already. So grab your favorite drink, and whatever it is, there's no judgment, you know, just grab your drink, get yourself into your cozy little corner, because you need to have that little sip of whatever it is you're having to get you going, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And of course, we're going to have our snacks. Yes, we will have our snacks today. I think the food truck is coming down the block right now. There it is. Yes. Okay. There is our little food truck, guys. It's got everything in there, from bagels and coffee and all kinds of stuff. We even have unicorns going across. It's okay. It's all good. Grab your little snacks. And yes, we've got the healthy stuff too. Don't worry. It's all in there, and it's calorie free. So pick whatever you want. Go ahead and grab your favorite little item and get yourself settled. So now that you're in your little cozy spot, you've got all your little snacks, let's do our little toast of the morning to start our day. So grab your little drink and toast to you, because it's Friday and we are ready to go. So I'm going to grab myself a cute little drink here. Oh yeah, let me just pour you a cup while I'm at it. If you got one lump or two, let me know. I'll go ahead and pour you a cup there. But go ahead and grab a little swivel of whatever it is you are having. Alrighty. It's good, especially on those hot mornings, right? I'm tuning in from Miami, Florida, like I said, so it's really hot out there. So gotta start with my water, right? Okay, now that we're all hydrated and we've got our snacks and we're in our cozy little spot, we are ready to start. So let's get going, right? Now, a couple of things that we want to talk about today. I'm really excited to show you a feature that's new to me in Embrilliance. So new to me in Embrilliance, I thought it was awesome. One of the members out there reached out and told me a little piece about this. I didn't realize that a function that Embrilliance has. And it's really nice. I think it's going to be great. Kind of helps out with what we're doing here. So if you're just new and you haven't followed along with what we're doing the Holly Jolly Christmas quilt, because we are Christmas in July. And so we've got all kinds of different little squares here that we need to put together, because we're towards the tail end of it, and we're going to start combining the quilt and getting this finished up. So I want to jump into Embrilliance and show you that step before we start putting together our quilts here. But let's head over to our laptop, and we're going to do that. Before we do that, let's go over to our crafting news, because I do have two little things, and one of them is time sensitive, so I want to make sure that it gets out to you. It's kind of a little reminder for you guys. Okay, so for our crafting news, we've got a reminder. The Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show is this Saturday, July the 12th. They're going to be celebrating 50 years of a Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show. And it's their biggest and brightest event just yet. They're going to have thousands of quilts fluttering in that summer breeze. It's going to be really amazing. It all started back in 1975 with Jean Wells, who hung a few quilts outside her little quilt shop. And now it is the largest outdoor quilt show in the world. It draws in about 10,000 visitors a year, and there's no admission, right? Awesome. No admission, no judging, no nothing. It's just for people to be able to watch them, enjoy them, and just, you know, people just have pure love of making the quilts. So they're really neat. Okay, they've got over 1,000 quilts that are on display there, and it's really amazing. Jean is now 82 years old, and she has a fantastic time making this. So check it out if you're in that area. It's going to be really, really neat, and that is in Oregon. Okay, one more item is a little inspiration for you. We've got an 11-year-old that is in Mavora, Iowa, and she runs her own sewing business called the Dolly Girl Designs. Yeah, it's named after Dolly Parton, who's her favorite celebrity. Isn't that cool? Now, this all started when her grandmother, Linda Phillips, took her to a fabric store, and Amelia spotted a Hello Kitty sewing machine, of course. She asked for it for her birthday, and of course, you know, Grandma will not disappoint. She went ahead and got it for her, and it's been amazing. Since then, she's in love with the machine, and she's donated a bunch of items over to the local animal rescues. So these are all items that she's made. She's made dog bandanas. She's also made other projects like scrunchies, book pillows, hand warmers, key holders, and a whole lot more, right? So she's got even a cozy reading pillow with a pouch with her favorite book, Harry Potter. So she sells all of her little creations at the vendor fairs, and she uses her money to care for her 4-H cattle, who of course are named Dolly as well. So I thought that was really, really neat. She's also a reader, a musician. She plays football and basketball, and she's got 9 projects that she's entering in the county fair. 6 of them were sewn by hand. So pretty neat, that little story, and I wanted to kind of bring that over to you before we get started. Okay, so what I would like to do today is talk about a little option that is available in Embrilliance. And we've talked about putting the fabric and auditioning fabric in your projects, right? You want to make sure that you pick the right fabric for the right job. And Embrilliance has an option that allows you to do that. And I'm going to show you how to do that in Embrilliance. So let's get started with that. Okay, so we're heading over to the laptop, and on the laptop here, I've got a design that we've been working on, and this can be done with any applique type of design, and it'll allow you to audition your fabric to see if the fabric that you've selected will kind of contrast well with the design that you are doing. And there's a few different things that you need to do in order to do that, and one of the things is to have enthusiast, or you can have essentials. Of course, if you have stitch artists, that's a plus as well. So what I'm going to do here is I have a design that I brought in, and again, you can bring any one. So we've got a few to pick from. This is one of the very first blocks that we did on the Designs by Juju Holly Jolly Christmas quilt. And then I have here a second design on that same quilt, and it is the sashes. And as you know, in our regular daily shows, we've been talking about the sashing and how we wanted this to contrast against a really nice fabric, right? And we kind of struggled of which one to select. And this option really helps you to do that. So one of the things that you would need to do on here is first you want to go over to, and actually I'm going to start with, let's start with this one here, right? Let's start with the reindeer. So what we want to do here is I want to open this up. And again, when you open this up in the objects panel, you're going to see all of the layers that make up your designs. You want to have that open and just available for you. Then I'm going to head over to my utility menu. And I'm going to select, there's a few options on here, but I'm going to select based hoop. So if you have enthusiast, you will have based hoop as your option. If you only have essentials, you can also select based design. So those are two options to be able to get to this kind of the same place here. So I'm going to go ahead and select base hoop. And you see that that created a little box all the way around my design. Okay. And what that is kind of adding another layer to your design that will then allow you to audition your fabric. And so I'm going to come over because in the objects panel, you're now going to notice that we now have an additional box right here. So there's an additional layer that's out here, created another box. So we want to go ahead and click on that box, and you'll see that over on the left-hand side, it did highlight it. And I'm going to click on the color itself. So this is what's called a basting line. So if you're familiar with applique, you always have your placement line, and then you have the fabric that you would put on top, or it would be your batting, you know, whatever it is that you're putting on top, and then it would be a tack down line, right? So they call it the basting line here, and that's what you want to tell it to say. You're basically telling Embrilliance, take this little box that I've just created, let's make it an applique, and let me add my fabric to it so that I can literally see what the fabric's going to look like behind the design itself. So the way you do that is you're going to come over here and you're going to select the second tab, which says applique. And then you're going to go to the drop down menu of the style. Right now it's set as not applique. So you're going to click on that drop down and you're going to select applique position. And then it's going to give you a couple of options to view your fabric. So what you're going to want to do is select single image, and a pop-up box is going to appear because it's asking you to put in a picture of your fabric. Now, one of the things that you will need to do is you'll need to take a picture of your fabric and save that picture as a JPEG file onto your computer so that you can now bring it in on this step. So I'm going to go ahead and select one that I have here. So I've got a few. Let's go ahead and select this green one right here. And I'm going to go ahead and hit open. And you'll notice that my background has changed completely green. So if I hit OK, I can see now what my fabric is going to look like when it is behind this particular design. And so on the actual reindeer itself, maybe I want to kind of see what other fabrics I can bring in. So I know I don't want to make the reindeer head green, right? This is just the background fabric. So now I'm going to come back over to my objects panel and I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to highlight that first step where we are putting down the placement line, right? So let's highlight that step here, and you can see the color here, deep rose. Go ahead and click on that. Again, the option's going to appear. I'm going to select applique, and I'm going to select applique position. Okay, go ahead and select single image just to bring it in, and let's just say I'm going to pick beige. Now I'm going to hit open, but you're going to notice that not everything was completely outlined in beige. I'm just doing this head here, so I'm just bringing in this top portion. So I'm going to hit tiled image. Now you see how the entire image was filled in. I'm going to hit OK to get this out of the way. And now you can see I have my beige fabric here, and I've got my background fabric as the green back here. And so I can see how my beige and my green will contrast each other. So I think that's really a nice little feature that Embrilliance has to be able for you to see what your fabric's going to look like as you're selecting your fabrics for any particular design. And so I can go into each piece here, like let's say the nose. You know, maybe I want to see what the nose is going to look like. Maybe I want to bring in a different color and I'm not too sure about what it's going to look like, especially if you have those fabrics that have a lot of design to it. So let's take a look at this one here, right? This is one of the green ones that we have, and it has basically a lot of floral on here. There's different shades of green going on. It's a pretty busy fabric. And sometimes if you put really busy fabrics on top of a design that has a lot of embroidery, it kind of loses a little bit of itself in here. And so auditioning the fabrics against the designs themselves really gives you the opportunity to select the best one. And this is a great feature to be able to bring in all of the different fabrics that you have and audition them within the program itself before you start cutting up your fabric. And, you know, fabric is pretty expensive. So you want to make sure that you're selecting the right one and you're cutting up the right one, and not have to cut it up, put it in the machine, and then realize this is really not what you want. And so now you've wasted fabric, wasted thread, wasted time, right? This gives you the opportunity to really go in there and look at your fabric against the design itself to really understand if that's what you really want. So I think that's a perfect way to do that. But that is how you can really just go in here and play with the different fabric colors. I can go into different ones. Let's try one more here. Let's see. Let's look at the nose. Again, click on the color itself to bring it up. Go over to applique and select applique position. Now I want it to fill in just the nose, so I can go to tiled image, or you can change it up later if you'd like. It's still going to bring up my screen so I can select my fabric. I can select red because that's a fabric that I have here, and hit open and then OK. And you see that the red is now kind of filled in there. And so it's starting to really look like what you can have in your output once you have all your fabric selected. So this is a really nice feature, and this is amazing that you can do this without having to cut up your fabric and do it later on. So I thought that was a great feature, and I wanted to kind of bring that out to you. Really, really simple, really nice to do. I really think this is awesome to help you figure out what you want your design to look like in the very end. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Oh, alrighty. Thank you, Celia, for this super chat. I really appreciate it. I hope that was really helpful. Yeah, this was really a great technique. Yeah, Sue, awesome technique, right? That was really nice. So I want to thank Barbara for that, because Barbara, I'm sorry, not Barbara. Debbie White was the one who actually contacted me and said, hey, there is a feature on that. And then I did more research and I found even more things on there, which was really, really awesome. So this is just a great software. There's so much you can do with it. Really can help you out. You just need to explore the options. And sometimes we can get a little intimidated about what's out here and we're not sure exactly what it does, but just click around on the buttons. You're not going to hurt anything. If anything, you just don't save it and you close it down, right? But play around with the buttons. These are just one of the many options that are on here. And I'm going to keep exploring more and more things as I continue to work on Embrilliance and see all the different things you can do. I think we're going to be experts by the end of the year. We're going to love this, right? All right. Yeah. So great little option there. So, okay. So that's our little technical education that we wanted to put in for you today. And I think it's really great. Now we can do that with the sashing as well. you know that the sashing was really a challenge for me, trying to figure out what fabric was, you know, the right one to use with that contrast. Because again, on the sashing, I did pick this green colored fabric that does have a lot of floral on it. And if you look at the design itself, on the picture that they put in the Designs by Juju, it was a pretty busy fabric, right? It has a lot of green and white in there, but there's a lot going on there. And then on top of that, these sides are embroidered. They have embroidery on there, but you really can't tell because the design is just so busy. And I really wanted the embroidery to kind of stand out, but I really want my blocks to pop, right? I don't want a dull color and not have it pop. And so it was a challenge to try to figure out what would be the right fabric to really have it stand out and make that statement. So I'm pretty happy with what I pick. Although it is a little busy, I think the contrast with the thread color really helps out as well. And you can really do that and also change the thread color as well so that you can see if that will really fit the design and the look that you are getting at. Oh, thank you for requesting crafts. That's my sister, guys. Thank you for the super chat. Hope you learned something there. All right, I want to take a quick look at our sashing on here and just show you that really quick. So let's go back to our laptop really quick here. This is the sashing that we were working on yesterday, and we've gotten those all embroidered. And remember, we played around with the thread color, right? So Designs by Juju has this as a blue snowflake thread, and I went ahead and changed it to white. So I want to show you what that kind of looks like. So let's go to utility. I'm going to go ahead and add my based hoop, and I'm going to select that. I didn't take a picture of my white fabric, I don't think. Let me just check if I did. I'm going to go to applique. I'm going to put this as an applique, and I'm going to select, I don't have white, but I do have beige. So I'm going to bring the beige one in as my background, okay? And then I'm going to open up my sashing, and I'm going to select, all the way up here. Here we go. There is the first box, right? There's my placement line. Select the color, select applique, and I'm going to select applique position, single image, and I'm going to look for my green one here, and I'm trying to remember which one it was. Let's try this dark green. Actually, I think it was the first green. Let's try. Yep, I think that's it. And let's do tiled image. And the other thing you can select is called simulated. See how that kind of changes it? But it really kind of distorts it from what it's really going to look like. So I'm going to leave it as tiled and then select OK. Now, you see how my thread colors, since they are designed to be blue, see how they're kind of lost in the background? You can't even make out the embroidery here. And so this is why I wanted to change that, right? I wanted to change my snowflakes to be a different color. And so I changed it to white. Let me see if I can search for that. Let's just do polar white. And it looks a little better because you can actually make out that there's an embroidery on there. Of course, I didn't select beige is not my background fabric, but I don't have white. I didn't take a picture of white fabric, and you need to take a picture of the fabric to be able to put it on here. So it does look a little dark, but I know it's actually a little bit lighter because it is a white background, not a beige background. But it does look better than the blue because it's not so pushed in together. So this is the actual stitch out of that. And let's bring that up so you can see here, here's the white thread against that fabric. Okay, so gives you a nice little view of that. So now if I take away the background fabric, let's say I go to that box, that basting box that we put in, I'm going to go ahead and delete it. You can see here now, you'll only see the fabric itself with the embroidery, and you don't have that background behind it. So you can do that as well if you just want to see the actual image of whatever piece you're embroidering. And you can do that for each of the pieces and different fabrics. You know, you can see, well, what if I made the nose red or blue or, you know, whatever. You can change it up. Maybe do the nose with a red that has some kind of design on it, or you can do a red with just a plain red and see what that looks like. And you can just make the decision that way. Okay, so that is everything again here. Do it again. Okay, you want me to do it one more time? Sure, I can do it one more time. Let's do this. Let's pick a different one. So I'm gonna open up a new tab, and I'm gonna bring in a design. So we're doing this totally from scratch. So let's bring in, let's see here. Let's do the elf boy. Okay. Okay, so we have our little elf here, and that's one of the blocks as well. Okay, again, you have your objects panel. When you open that up, you can see all of your layers. Okay, so we're gonna do, the first thing is to put a background fabric behind this actual square here. So you're gonna bring your background fabric behind the actual design. So whatever your design is, in this case, the little squares here, you're putting your background fabric. So this would be the little white fabric that we selected, right? But we're gonna do our background fabric. So we're gonna go to utility, and we're going to select based hoop. Okay, you can also base the design depending on what you have, whether you have enthusiast or if you have essentials. If you have enthusiast, you can select based hoop. If you have essentials, go ahead and select base design. And then that will put that outer box all around the design, and you'll see you'll have a second object listed on your objects panel. So this very first one is the one that we've just created. So what we're going to do here, once we have that, we're going to click on that basting block, and you're going to click on the color. So the basting block right now, it assigned it a default color of black. You can change that if you like, but it's not going to matter. What you want to do is just click on that to open up this pop-up box right here. You're going to select applique, and you're going to select the style and change it to applique position. And then you're going to select single image under the fabric view section. So you want to bring in your fabric to showcase it. So we're going to select a fabric. Of course, you had to have taken a picture of your fabric first, right? You're going to save that as a JPEG file onto your computer, whether you do it on a thumbnail or on the computer itself. Go ahead and select single image. It's going to pop up your box, and you just need to find wherever you saved that picture, right? I have a few fabrics here saved. Let's just pick one maybe we haven't used. Let's try this light green here, and I'll hit open. And you'll see that the fabric is now covering the entire basting block. Okay, and so I'll just hit OK. So that is the background fabric. So if you think about that and you're looking at our little, and I'll try to bring it out here. So here's our elf, okay? We've got the white polka dot background fabric, okay? This is what we selected for this particular design as our background fabric. So what we've done on the computer is we've told it that we selected this light green fabric as our background fabric, okay? So that is basically the white fabric is what you're seeing on the computer, okay? That's what we've selected. So if we go to the laptop itself, you're gonna see we've got that green fabric. So that is our background fabric. So it's two different things. Make sure you don't get confused. You want your background fabric, and then you want the fabric for the actual design. So let's just say that the green is our background fabric, and now I want to audition different fabrics for the elf itself. So let's go over to the objects panel. We're gonna open it up, and we're going to look for the very first applique. Now, remember, we went through this when we were kind of selecting our different applique pieces and we send it over to our scan and cut. What we're doing is selecting just the very first applique, which was the little top hat over here and the little collar down here in red, right? Those were the two applique pieces that we first cut out with your scan and cut, or if you don't have a scan and cut, these will be the first two pieces that you'll be laying down your fabric, right? When you send it to your embroidery machine, it's going to ask you for the very first fabric piece. These are the first two colors that you would lay down. So let's go over now to our color right here, because we want to change that and we want to bring in our fabric. So I'm selecting applique. I'm selecting applique position, and I want only that image, right? We've already done the background fabric with green. I only want the image to be populated. So I just want the hat and the collar to be populated. So I'm going to select tiled image. My pop-up box is going to appear, and then I'm going to select a fabric that will only fill in that area. So let's go over here. We've got our pop-up box, and let's do red. And go ahead and open that one. And then I'm gonna hit OK. And so you see here, there's my red fabric. Now my red fabric that I selected is the one that has a little bit of background in it. So that's why you see the little red and black. Right? I could pick a plain red fabric and take a picture of that and load that in here. But that's what it filled in for me. So now maybe I want to go ahead and let's do the little face and bring in that beige fabric, right? So I just have to find the face. And let's see, I believe it's this one right here. Go into the color, go to applique, select applique position, tiled image, and then I'm going to look for my beige fabric, and I'm going to bring that in and hit OK. And there you go. See how it's starting to take shape here? And so now you can bring in all different colors, and you can change your design and really make it your own. This really allows you to personalize it with the fabric that you have in your stash, without having to go out and buy new fabric just to match it because they told you to use this certain color. You can audition the fabrics that you have at your home and just bring those in and see what they're going to look like before you actually stitch it out or even cut a piece of fabric, which is really amazing. The only thing you need to do is take a picture of your fabric. Now that I've kind of explored this little area, I may start to just have a little library that I'm keeping, and it'll kind of serve as an inventory of your fabric. So as the fabrics come in, just take a quick little picture of it and save it on here. And then you'll be able to audition them with different designs, right? So it's just really a nice feature that really allows you to personalize it and really have fun with this. I mean, it's just really amazing. Evelyn, you love this lesson? Awesome. I'm glad. I'm glad. Okay, so it's really nice. Remember, guys, you don't even have to grab those big bolts, right? Or maybe the other thing you can do is before you even purchase the fabric, take your phone with you to the store, take pictures of the different fabrics that you're thinking of using, and then go home and audition them. And once you've decided on the ones that's going to work for your project, then you head back to the store and you purchase them, right? Because sometimes we buy fabrics, we think it's going to look good, you get home, and then it doesn't look good. And so you can kind of do that to kind of help save a little bit of money as well, right? So you can keep a little inventory in your computer of the fabrics that you have on stash. You know, you can play with different designs, make them your own, especially if you're looking at directional fabric. That's another one. If directional fabric may or may not work well with the design that you are looking at, right? So you got to kind of play with the different features and see what will work for you. So I'll do one more for you guys. Let's see. Let's bring in, let's do the little nose, right? Kind of complete our little picture here. Again, applique position. And I'm going to bring in a tiled image. And let's see here. How about a light green? And okay. There's this little nose. Okay. And you can even play with the satin stitch that's going around the nose is pink. Maybe you don't want the satin stitch to be pink. Maybe, you know, because I selected this green fabric, maybe I want, I don't know, a yellow or something else, some other color. You can change that here because you're in Brilliance, and all you have to do is go to your objects panel and just look for wherever that satin stitch is being made, right? So you go to that particular spot, and you just have to find, well, where is that satin stitch? Here it is. It's salmon pink. And maybe I don't like that one and I want to change it to, I don't know, something different. How about a gray? You know, and just hit OK. There you go. You've just changed your satin stitch. And so you can play around with the colors and see, well, what is going to work for me, right? Again, you are doing all kinds of different colors here. Maybe you want to change it to a white. Let's try that. I can search for it by color, right? Maybe I want to do white here. That may work too, right? So you play around with all different colors. That's really what you want to do in this little design. Maybe, again, those snowflakes that are in blue, they don't really work for me. Maybe I want those a different color. Maybe I'll do red for the snowflakes. Why not, right? We can do that. Change it into a red snowflake. There you go. So play around with the different colors and you'll be surprised how your design will change with you. And, you know, you can get a totally different look than what you are actually given to start with. So don't be afraid to play with the different features because it's really nice to be able to do that and kind of put all things together here. So I wanted to kind of bring those tips to you. I was so excited when I would see this. Now, before Barbara brought this, Debbie brought this tip over to me, I have seen it on the EQ8 software. I know that EQ8 had the ability to bring in fabrics, and it's a great software to help design things as well. But I had never seen it done in Brilliance, and I think that's great. Celia says, and most all manufacturers have images of all collections free for downloads. That is correct. That's how you bring in your fabrics in EQ8. Yes, and that is the software that I'm talking about. I know that that software has that ability, and she's correct. You can get that for free. They have a lot of designers out there. Those manufacturers will put digital pictures of that. And even if you're shopping for fabric, maybe do a little screenshot, and you can grab a little piece. If you're shopping for fabric online, grab a little snapshot picture of it and then bring it into your embrilliance here, bring it into your design and see if that fabric is going to work before you actually purchase it, right? We're doing that when you're going to the store. You can take that picture, bring it home, play around with it, and decide if you want to buy that. But you can also do it online. And a lot of these, even big box stores, will have pictures of the fabrics that they have at the store online as well. So you can do that from home. Just go ahead and select that, and then you'll know exactly what you want to purchase. And then, go to the store or even just purchase it online and never even leave your house. Right? So that's really just an awesome feature. I think it's really great, and it's really going to help a lot of people that struggle with selecting fabrics, right? And that becomes a real struggle to try to figure out what's going to look the best for your particular design. And I think that really helps it out. So what I want to do here really quick, because I know we're running pretty low on time, is I'm going to kind of set my laptop over to the side, but let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know, and I will address them as I see them come through. So I'm going to showcase, we've been working on the elf, so we'll just play with the little elf block, right? And I want to show you what the finished sashing and cornerstone blocks kind of look like when you're putting the design together. So let me try to move this over a little bit more. Okay, so here is one of the blocks that we've done. And these are the sashings. Now on the sashing itself, I did go ahead, I cut off the wash away stabilizer, and in one of the prior steps, we did cut the batting as well, right? So you just have the overlap of the fabric itself at 1/2 inch all the way around. That is what the instructions tell you to do, right? So make sure that you are cutting your pieces of the sashing with that 1/2 inch extra fabric. That's your overlay. That 1/2 inch is going to serve its purpose when you are putting it together, right? So we're going to be sewing this all the way around. So the way it's going to be laid out, and I'll try to move some stuff around here. Let's see. We're going to have the sashings on both sides of the actual design, and then you're going to have the second one lined up. And when you put this together, you're not going to have this overhang, right? Because you're going to do right sides together, and you're going to line up the line that you have from the actual block and the line that you have with the sashing. You'll line those two up, and I would recommend that you pin it. And then you're not going to be sewing on the line. You're going to be sewing a little bit on the inside. So if you look at the actual stitch out, and this is going to be a great way to kind of help you out here, you're going to see, and it's going to be a little difficult. Let me see if I had, yeah, all of my fabrics were with white thread, but when you look at the back of your sashing, there are two boxes that are going to be around, right? You had your placement line, and then you had your tack down line. One box is a little bit smaller than the other. The placement line is the outer box. The tack down line is the inner box. You want to sew in between those two boxes. Okay, that's exactly where you want your stitch to be, because out here you have this outside stitch, right? You do not want this outside stitch to show. You don't want that box to show. That box is going to be eaten up in the seam allowance, and so you will not see that outer box. So you're going to be stitching in between that placement line and the tack down line. And that'll allow this line of stitches to kind of disappear. And so it will be eaten away in the seam allowance. The same thing is going to happen with this box, right? When you are sewing it, you're just going to be sewing just inside of that line so that you can't see it. And then once you do that, these two will be connected and you will not see the box at all. All you'll be left with is the actual block here without this placement line going around, and you'll have the sashing without the placement line as well. Okay, so that's what you're going to have here. So it'll sort of look like this, although you won't have this fabric overhanging here. It'll be tucked inside like that, right? And then you're going to have your cornerstones as well. And for your top row, we're going to have the cornerstone, we're going to have the sashing, and then you're going to repeat with another cornerstone. Okay, and so just looking at one block itself, this is what it will look like once you have it put together. Okay. And this is with me just kind of placing it on top. Okay, so it will look something like that. So if you wanted to just do the one block and frame it, that would be a cute little gift right there, right? You can just do something like this, have this as just a little wall hanging itself. All you have to do now, if you just decided to do just the one block, you know, you can just add some backing fabric on here and just put a little hanging here on the top. And that way you can just hang it. So that in itself is just a little gift right here, right? Or if you wanted to make this into a table runner, you can just add another block, maybe just do a total of 3 blocks if you'd like, and just kind of continue it this way, right? That's another way that you can do it. I would just add another cornerstone here and just kind of continue it. Maybe put another sashing here. I ran out of cornerstones that I didn't have all of them with me, but you would have another one here, right? And you can kind of continue it this way or do another wall hanging this way, right? So different things, different layouts that you can do with this, but for the quilt itself, this is what you're going to have, and you're going to kind of work this way. Right, this will be inside here, and this will all line up here, and then you'll kind of continue going all the way down, right? And you'll have your 3 rows, and then you'll start working your way down. So when you're putting this together, the first thing you want to do is you want to do that first row. So cornerstone, sashing, cornerstone, sashing. You'll have another cornerstone and another sashing. That's your first row. Then you're going to do your second row. Your second row is going to be the sashing with the block, and then again with the sashing, and then the next block, and then the sashing, and then the next block, okay? So you'll have those lined up. After you've got those 2 rows together, then you can merge the top row with the second row and just sew that all the way across. Paying very close attention to your points, right? So we want to make sure that we are lining this up so that the sashing lines up accordingly. The cornerstone is hitting its mark and lining up right underneath the sashing, making sure you're hitting each one of those points. So pinning is going to be really critical on here, and making sure that it's getting put together the right way. So make sure you use your pins, make sure you are using the lines to line them up correctly, right size together. If you need to use more pins or clips, whatever it is that you need to use, just make sure that is lined up accordingly. Okay, so that's pretty much it here on how you can line this up and get it all squared away, and you will be ready to go. So I'm going to be working on that this weekend, trying to line everything up and put everything together. And then on Monday, we can kind of go over the results and see our final product. Alrighty. Okay, so we are getting towards the tail end of our time. So let's go over to our inspirational quote of the day and see what we have there. All right, so today's inspirational quote of the day is, "Creativity thrives when there's freedom to experiment, adjust, and discover new ways to create." Awesome. That is awesome. And that's exactly what we've done today. You want to have the ability to create, explore different options, bring different fabrics in, change things around, and just kind of make it your own. I think it's really a nice way to just kind of audition different things. Sometimes you are not even thinking of a particular fabric and you bring it in and then you just absolutely love it, right? So it's a great way to experiment. Don't be afraid to do that and press all the buttons that you want on there, right? I think it's going to be fantastic. Oh, thank you, Leslie, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. So I'm so happy that you guys enjoy the content. Try to bring more great content to you as I explore more and more options with brilliance and all the machines and other techniques. I continue to do a lot of research to try to bring new things, new trends, new ideas over to the group. I hope it really helps everyone out, especially those that maybe have an Etsy shop, or maybe you have a craft fair coming up, or right now it's Christmas in July. We're looking for those gifts, right? We don't know what to give people. And it's going to be a tough year this year. So why not make it homemade, right? So I think it would be really great. Okay. Well, thank you, Robin, too. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Well, definitely, I think you guys can explore those options and use the weekend to kind of bring in your fabrics, create that library of your fabrics so that you can kind of put things together. Now, you'll have different ways on how you want to organize your fabrics online, right? There's all kinds of different ideas I have for that. And we'll talk about that in an upcoming session. So I think it's just a lot of fun to do it. Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much. I know Becky should be back today, and I know she's going to be coming up any minute. So let's go over to her channel and show her a little bit of support. Thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I am not going to be streaming tomorrow, Saturday, crafternoon. My son does have a competition tomorrow. So I don't think I'm going to be back in time to stream it, but we'll keep you guys in tuned on Facebook. So keep on the lookout for that. So thank you guys all for tuning in, and I hope to be crafting with you soon. Bye, everyone.
So long for now, so long. Glad you stayed a while. Hope you liked my crafting style. Hope I left you with a smile. By now, keep your mind and space clutter-free. Hope your day is bright as can be. So long, my friends, till we craft once again. Bye now, stay crafting. See you tomorrow. So long, my friends, till we craft once again.